Welcome back, decoders. How's it going? I'm back after an 8-day absence. Let me get set up here, and then we'll go through it. We'll do a decode for once. So it looks like we got 5 people in the chat. So we'll give it a little bit more time, and then we'll jump into this propaganda as usual. All fear porn, fear propaganda, whatever you want to call it. And I see that Joseph Aquaviva was in the chat. If you guys don't know his channel, go check it out. But go check out his decode he put out earlier on the shooting. I'm not going to cover everything that he covered, but it's always good to check out his decode because sometimes he's covering things that I don't cover. And so, yeah, Joseph Aquaviva 2222. Check out his channel. And yeah, guys, it's nice to be back. I've been taking a break, resting my brain, resting my eyes. And this just seemed like a good day to come back and do a decode. So yesterday was my girlfriend's birthday. And of course, yesterday we had the mass shooting in Maine. And we're going to go over this ritual here, and I'm going to show you how there's a lot of interesting clues connected to this suspect who's apparently still on the loose. And usually, guys, after these shootings, they usually find the suspect pretty fast. They usually either kill the suspect or they capture the suspect usually within the first couple hours, right? But in this case, the suspect is still on the loose, apparently, after almost a full 24 hours. So, yeah, I think this is all tied to Biden, guys. And I've been talking a lot about Biden's potential, his potential, him potentially leaving the stage and making way for Kamala. And, I'm going to show you how this is completely tied to Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden, right? But before I do that, let me jump into what I've showed before in my videos. And let me just show you guys why I've been eyeing the next 2 days in connection to JFK and Joe Biden. So before I get into the shooter, I want to preface that with this so you guys can see why I'm looking at the next 2 days maybe the ritual already happened, guys. Maybe on the 25th, it was the ritual tied with this JFK thing that I found. But I'm thinking something could happen to Biden the next 2 days. But of course, we'll only know that once it actually happens. But so JFK and Joe Biden are very connected, right? And both of them are the Catholic presidents. So there's only been 2 Catholic presidents, JFK and Joe Biden. Both of them have Irish heritage. So both of them come from families that, their ancestors came from Ireland, right? Supposedly. So both presidents that were Catholic are both Irish descent. And they're both Catholic. And what makes this interesting is when you go over to Gematria and you type in the word Catholic, if you spell it right, that is. If you type in the word Catholic, you get 35 and 46. And again, JFK was the 35th and the first Catholic. Joe Biden is the 46th and the second Catholic. So what are the chances that both Catholic presidents happen to match the word Catholic because JFK was 35 and Biden is 46? Now, if we go back in 1963, which was the year of the JFK assassination, as I tried to map this out so you guys could understand it clearly. So JFK visited Ireland, which is a Catholic nation, right? In 1963, he did so 149 days before he was shot, okay? He arrived in Ireland 149 days before he was shot. That's important because he was the 35th president. And the 35th prime number is 149. So he was shot 149 days after he arrived in the Catholic country, Ireland. And he was the 35th president, and the 149 days is the 35th prime. So it was scripted perfectly with his visit to Ireland, okay? So if we follow the pattern, as I talked about in my prior videos, if we follow the pattern and we go with Joe Biden, remember, Catholic equals 35 and 46. Biden's the 46th president. Biden arrived in Ireland on April 11th, 2023, kind of like JFK arrived in Ireland on June 26th, 1963, and 149 days later, the 35th prime, he was shot. He was the 35th president. Biden is the 46th president, and he's the second Catholic president, Catholic 46. If Biden follows the same pattern as JFK did, 199 days is the 46th prime. That means, since Biden is the 46th president, if he was to get something happen to Joe Biden 199 days after his visit to Ireland, just like JFK was 149 days after his visit, it would be October 27th, which is tomorrow. It could also be the 28th, depending on which day they say he arrived, because some articles say that Biden arrived on the 27th. Or on the April 11th. Some say that he arrived on April 12th. So it just depends. It could be the 27th or the 28th. So I just wanted to start this decode by showing this connection between JFK and Joe Biden and how tomorrow is lined up perfectly with what happened to JFK. Okay, if you follow the same pattern. So, with that being said, how is this shooting that happened yesterday also connected to this? Okay, well, first of all, the shooting happened in Lewiston, Maine, and it happened a couple days before the day that I'm talking about, right? I just pointed out the Biden connection with October 27th. Well, let me show the easiest connections first, guys. So this shooting happened on the day leaving 67 days left in the year, okay? And 67, so the day leaving 67 days left in the year, and the guy's name, Robert Card, equals 67. So the shooting happened with the day leaving 67 days in the year, and the shooter's name, Robert Card, equals 67. Just like Hunter Full Moon. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because a few days after the shooting, we have the Hunter Full Moon. And the Hunter Full Moon equals 67, like blood sacrifice, like the shooter's name, Robert Card. Now, if you guys remember, there's something very interesting about the name of this moon, Hunter Moon, and Biden's son. Biden's son is Hunter Biden. So we have the Hunter Full Moon, and Biden's son name is Hunter Biden. But no, his name is not Hunter Biden only. His name is Robert. And what does that remind you of, guys? Well, it reminds you of the shooter. The shooter yesterday, his name is Robert. Like Hunter Biden's real name is Robert Hunter Biden. So we have the Hunter Moon coming up on the 28th, 2 days. And now we have this shooting. And the guy who's doing the shooting is named Robert. And Hunter Biden's real name is Robert, okay? And again, I'm already tying this to the Hunter Moon, like Hunter Biden. See, Hunter Biden goes by his middle name, Hunter. And what does a hunter do, guys? a hunter shoots, right? A hunter kills, right? So this is all tied to the Hunter Moon and Hunter Biden, and something with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Now, if you guys were here in the beginning of this decode, you guys caught how I made the connection between JFK and the pattern with Joe Biden leading us to tomorrow. And now we have a connection to Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. And the Hunter Moon falls a few days before Halloween. And we know that Halloween is a huge ritual time. All Saints Day, it's All Hallows Eve. It's a huge ritual time. It's a satanic time where a lot of rituals are done. And so everything is connected, guys. The Hunter Moon, Halloween, the shooting yesterday, and Joe Biden and his son. Now I want you guys to notice, 2 weeks ago, Hunter Biden was in the news as the judge agrees to drop the old gun count. So Hunter Biden is in the news, connections to guns, right? And now we have a guy named Robert Card, okay, which ties to Hunter Biden's real name, Robert Hunter Biden, okay? Now, what's interesting is there's something really big with this time period also in Joe Biden, okay? Because Joe Biden, President Biden equals 144. We know this is a big number, okay? And from the day that Joe Biden was inaugurated, okay, so Joe Biden was inaugurated on January 20th, 2021, okay? That means that this shooting happened exactly 144 weeks after Joe Biden's inauguration. And President Biden equals 144. The shooting happened exactly 144 weeks on the nose, guys. 144 weeks and 0 days after the inauguration of President Biden. Okay, President Biden 144. And we know this is a huge number, guys. Jesuit order 144. The 144,000 in the Bible, 12 times 12, 144. Robert Frederick. Yeah, I'm not giving Robert a bad name because actually my last name is Robertson. So I have a huge tie to the name Robert as well. So yesterday was 144 weeks after Joe Biden's inauguration. Exactly. Also, don't forget, it was 33 months after his inauguration. So we know that's a big number. So 144 weeks, President Biden 144 in Gematria. Now, let's dig a little bit deeper into where this shooting took place. So I always make it a habit of taking a look at the map, because the map will often tell you a lot as to why they choose a certain place for a ritual. And if you notice, and you go to where the bar is, okay, so let's just zoom in. So this is where the shooting took place. And there's a big reason why they chose this place. So if we zoom in and we see, notice that on Google Maps, it shows you exactly where the shooting took place right here. But it happened at Shemenigis, which sounds like an Irish name. I don't know if it's Irish or not, but it sounds like an Irish name. And I'm connecting this to Ireland and Joe Biden and John F. Kennedy, all Irish. So just notice that the Lewiston shootings happened on Lincoln Street. Lincoln Street, guys. So what does that put you in mind of? Abraham Lincoln. He was the other big president to be assassinated. So the shooting happens on Lincoln Street, and Lincoln is the other president to be assassinated. And I already made a connection to JFK and Joe Biden, right? So now I want you guys to notice the zip code of this town. Lewiston, Maine zip code is 04240. Do you guys see this right here? 04240 is the zip code. And this is crazy what I'm about ready to show you. If you go to the shooter and you look and you watch the video of the deputy saying the birthday of the shooter, he gives the shooter's name, or the shooter, Robert Card, was born on April 4th, 1983. 4-4, like kill equals 44. Let me bring up all the 44s real fast. So the shooter, okay, the shooter was born on 4-4. Now remember, that was the day in history, okay, that Martin Luther King was assassinated. Do you guys see all these connections to assassinations? There's a connection to JFK, Lincoln, and now Martin Luther King, because the shooter is born on the same day that Martin Luther King was assassinated, on 4-4. The word kill equals 44. The word gunfire, 44. The word military, and this shooter was military, 44. Shooting, 44. And Joe Biden, 44. So why is the shooter born on 4-4? Well, this is why, guys, because it's the perfect day for a shooter to be born. Considering all these words equal 44. And the 44 has been a big number lately. It was a huge number in the war, the Hamas thing. It was a huge number in the Maui fires. It's always a big number, 44. So here's the kicker, guys. So I told you that the zip code. So let me just type in the zip code so you guys can see this. The zip code is 04240. This is the zip code for Lewiston, Maine. And the reason this is important, okay, 0424, is because the word Maine equals 42 and 24. Do you guys see this? Maine equals 42 and 24, kind of like gun equals 42. Gun 42, Maine 42. And the zip code for the shooting is 04240. Okay, right here. Now, the shooter, since he was born on 4-4-1983, the shooter was exactly 40 years, 204 days old on the day of the shooting. Now, again, guys, what is the zip code? What is the zip code of the place he shot up? It's 04240. So the shooter was literally the zip code of the city he was shot on the day that he did the shooting. 40204. This is the zip code. 04240. The zip code, right? And then his age, it's the same numbers, guys. It's just rearranged. 40204. The zip code is 04240. And again, the state, Maine, equals 4224. And again, like gun equals 42. And notice that the date numerology yesterday on the shooting was 42. 42 date numerology. The shooter was 204, which is, if you drop the zeros, is 424. Maine equals, gun equals 42. Maine equals 42. And do you guys see this? Do you guys see how perfectly scripted it is? Why did they choose the guy's age, his birthday, to be this day, which lines up perfectly, his age lines up perfectly with the zip code? I just can't believe this stuff, man. So again, I hope you guys got that. If you didn't get that, go back, rewind, and try to understand how impossible that is. That the guy's zip code is the guy's age, right? And again, this is witchcraft. We're coming up on Halloween. This is witchcraft, right? This is dark magic, black magic, mind control, whatever you want to call it. Halloween is coming up, right? So I'm going to talk a bit about that in a minute. But this is the big takeaway, guys. The shooter was the zip code. His age was the zip code of the place that he shot, right? It's just crazy, 04240. His age was essentially the same numbers. And remember, it's happened on Lincoln Street. And the word Lincoln equals, well, hold on, let me show you. So the word Lincoln equals the word murder, right? So this happened on Lincoln Street, and Lincoln and murder have a direct match almost. But again, this ties all back to the 44, right? But now let's talk about the 177, because this is all tied to Biden and Hunter Biden. Because again, guys, if you guys are late to the stream, 2 days from now, we're having the Hunter Moon. The Hunter Moon is coming up, and the street that this happened on is 551 Lincoln Street. If you type that out, it equals 177, like the Jesuit order, like New World Order, and like Bidenomics. And this is what Biden is going around touting, is Bidenomics. And notice that Bidenomics equals Hunter Biden. And 2 days from now, we have the Hunter Moon. So Hunter Biden equals the street, the name of the street that this shooting happened on. And the guy's name is Robert Card, kind of like Hunter Biden's real name is Robert. So again, Robert Biden is his real name. And the shooter is Robert Card. And currently, Hunter Biden is in the news tied to guns. And remember, guns equals 42, like Maine, okay? Like war. So again, back to the 177. The name of the street, 177. Hunter Biden, 177. Bidenomics, 177. And all of this, again, is tied to what I showed you guys in the beginning of how this pattern is playing out with the JFK assassination. 149 days after he was visiting Ireland, he was shot. If Biden is the 46th, 199 days after he visited Ireland, he would be tomorrow, okay? And then the next day is the Hunter Moon, and Hunter Biden is his son. So even if Biden doesn't get taken out in the next couple days, maybe something happens with Hunter Biden. I don't know. But yeah. And don't forget, guys, that we're heading into the 44th week of the year, and this 44 number has been huge. Now, I would like to say that we are currently in the 43rd week of the year right now, and the word assassination equals 43. So we're in the 43rd week of the year, and assassination equals 43. So that's interesting. And again, this shooting happens on Lincoln Street. Now, let's zoom out a bit, because you're going to notice that the biggest highway that runs near this Lewiston shooting is Highway 95. And this is where it gets into the Halloween connection, guys. So Highway 95 is the closest major highway to the Lewiston shooting. In fact, if you follow Highway 95 all the way from Lewiston, you're going to end up in Boston. And Boston is connected to Ireland, right? Boston, the Boston Celtics. Boston is very connected to Ireland. But again, if you follow the 95 from Lewiston, the biggest city you're going to hit is Boston. Trying to zoom out for you guys here. So if you take 95, you're going to run to Boston. And Boston is tied to the Irish. And Irish are tied to Biden, Kennedy, Massachusetts, the Catholics, right? Massachusetts. But the big thing is if you follow 95, and why is this important, guys? Well, I'm going to show you. So the word Halloween equals 95. So the highway that's closest to this shooting is 95. And this happens just days before Halloween, and Halloween equals 95. Now, Halloween is hugely connected to this with the 95 because 95 is lining up perfectly with this Halloween this year. Remember, Hawaii equals 95, right? This year, Halloween is on a Tuesday, which equals 95. Okay, so Halloween is on a Tuesday, 95, like Halloween. The shooting happened close to Interstate 95. And earlier this year in Baltimore. Now, this is all connected to Baltimore also because Baltimore has been in the news a lot this year for other shootings. In fact, in June this year, there was a lot of stuff going on with Baltimore, okay? So there was two deaths this year connected to the Baltimore Ravens in June, okay? I don't know if you guys remember this, but I'm trying to go back and remind you guys of this, but in June, there was two deaths of Baltimore Ravens players. Now, why am I making this connection to Baltimore and Halloween? Well, Baltimore so hold on a second. Why is it doing that? So Baltimore equals Halloween, okay? And in fact, they even said that one of the chief deputies on this shooting used to be in Baltimore. One of the chief deputies in this shooting yesterday used to be in Baltimore. And I told you that this shooting happened near 95, and Baltimore equals 95, Halloween 95, and Halloween this year falls on a Tuesday, which equals 95. Now, earlier this year in Baltimore, there was two deaths of two different players connected to the Baltimore Ravens, the football team, okay? One of them was Ray Lewis III, the son of famous let me just pull this up so you guys so this is so not confusing for you guys. And remember, this happened in Lewiston, okay? And earlier this year, Ray Lewis III, the son of a famous Baltimore Ravens football player, died, okay? In the same month, in June, there was the death of Ryan Mallett, who also played for Baltimore, okay? Both of these players died, both of these guys connected to Baltimore died in June. They both shared the birthday of June 5th, okay? Not the same year, but both of them that died in June were born on June 5th. If you measure from these two deaths, their birthday this year on June 5th to Halloween, it's 148 days, okay? Do you guys see this? So from the two Baltimore deaths to Halloween is their birthday to the Halloween this year is 148 days. Why is this important? Because in gematria, Halloween equals 148 like Baltimore. And again, both these players tied to Baltimore, and 148 days after their birthday is Halloween, and Halloween equals Baltimore, okay? I hope that makes sense. I know I'm kind of reaching back to old stories that a lot of you guys might not have any context with, but I'm trying to connect all of the stuff that's happened this year and show how it's not tied to this Baltimore thing and the 95. Remember Maui, Hawaii, the fires equals 95, and Baltimore 95, Tuesday, and Halloween is on a Tuesday, okay? But the chances that these two guys' birthday is 148 days after their birthday, Halloween, and Halloween equals 148 like Baltimore, it's not a coincidence. So I think that's the reason we have this 95. Remember, if we zoom in again, you'll see that the shooting yesterday happened near 95. And if you follow 95 down, actually, how far does 95 go down? Does 95 go all the way through Baltimore? It does, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the shooting happened off Interstate 95, and this goes all the way down through Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Baltimore is, and obviously through Washington, D.C. too, right? We're talking about, so yeah, thanks guys. So 95 goes all the way to Florida. Okay. So again, there's a reason why this happened right off of Interstate 95, and it's all connected to Halloween and Baltimore. And again, guys, Halloween is on a Tuesday, and Tuesday equals Halloween. So it's a perfect day this year. Yeah, so it's just big, guys. It's big. I'm telling you. More clues for something that could be coming, okay? But again, let's focus on tomorrow, because tomorrow is what lines up perfectly. I just noticed it's 144 days after these two Baltimore players' birthday, and Biden is currently in his 144th week since he became president, and President Biden equals 144. So again, here you go again. But why is this connected to the 144, guys? So remember, Biden is currently in his 144th week since he became president. Okay? And this shooting happened on Lincoln Street. Lincoln was shot on 14/4, 144. So Lincoln was shot on 144, and this shooting happens 144 weeks after Biden's inauguration, and President Biden equals 144, and this happened on Lincoln Street. Lincoln was shot on 14/4. Do you guys see this? Lincoln Street, Joe Biden, the 144 connection. Now, Lincoln died on 14/5, or no, he died on 154, but he was shot on 144, okay? That's the day he was shot, April 14th. So that's the reason I believe that they did this on Lincoln Street and off of 95, which again connects to Halloween, Baltimore, and Tuesday. And don't forget that Tuesday is connected to Mars, the god of war, which is connected to guns, right? What else do I want to talk about? So again, let's just, for those of you who are new to the stream, let me just bring up this basic information here. So we have the Hunter full moon coming up on the 28th, 2 days, and we have the shooter's name, Robert Card, equals 67, like Hunter full moon, like blood sacrifice, and the shooting happened on the day leaving 67 days left in the year, like the shooter's name equals 67, okay? And don't forget that the Hunter moon is tied to Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's real first name is Robert Biden, like the shooter's name is Robert Card. Okay, so this is why it's all tied to Robert Hunter Biden. Okay, and Yeah, so let me go to the chat for a minute here. Looks like we got 71. Okay, hey, Joseph. I see Joseph's in the chat. Yeah, guys, keep an eye on the chat. Joseph is also posting other things. Oh, the white Subaru Outback also equals 67. Okay, yeah, I missed that. Okay, yeah. So white Subaru Outback, 67. Like the shooter's name, like blood sacrifice, like hunter full moon. So all connected. Wednesday night equals 67, Joseph says. That's interesting because it happened on a Wednesday night. Lisbon, Maine, where his car is the shooter's car is. Okay. Thanks, Joseph, for hitting me all these 67s. So yeah, Lisbon, Maine, Wednesday night. Yeah, that's crazy. So all these 67s, and it happened on the day leaving 67 days left in the year. Thanks, Joseph. There's 67 in the chat right now. Why does that always happen, guys? Why, whenever I'm talking about a number, it's always the number that shows up in my chat? I swear they're listening to me and mocking me. Like, what are the chances? There's 67 in the chat, and I'm talking about 67. This happens to me all the time. Gosh. Oh, my goodness. Anyways, 67 days left in the year. The whole ritual based off the 67. Happy birthday to my girlfriend who was born yesterday. And her name just happens to equal 42. And so this is crazy, guys. So my girlfriend's name is Maria. Her birthday was yesterday. And Maria just happens to equal Maine in all ciphers. So my girlfriend's birthday, there's a shooting in Maine, and her name equals Maine. Maine and Maria are almost a direct match. I didn't spell her name right, but Maria equals exactly Maine. So that's weird. So yeah, my girlfriend's birthday yesterday. Maine equals Maria. I already told you gun. Gun equals 42. Yesterday had 42 date numerology. If you do it 10 plus 25 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, 42. I told you how the zip code for Lewiston, Maine, the zip code was, sorry, I lost it here. Lewiston, Maine. Doesn't show the zip code now. Anyways, let me just type it in. The zip code for Lewiston, Maine is 04240. Right? And Maine equals 42 and 24, like gun. Just like the shooter. Hey, Joseph, did you catch this? I don't think you were here when I showed you this. So the zip code of Lewiston, Maine is 04240. The shooter was exactly 40 years and 204 days old. 40 years and 204 days old yesterday on the shooting. And the zip code is 04240. And he was exactly the zip code. If you rearrange the numbers, it's the zip code of the city he was shooting. You guess, I don't know if you were here when I showed that, Joseph, but that's something you might want to look more into. Considering that Maine also equals 42 and 24, right? And also, don't forget, guys, we just had this war breakout. And war equals 42, like a gun. So it's all connected to the 42 right now. And remember, that's the beast reigns for 42 months. There's a lot to that number. Remember in that movie, what's that movie called again? Secrets of the Universe or something is the 42. It's because computer equals 42, and in that movie, there's a supercomputer that says the answer to the universe is the 42, right? So, no. So, yeah, what's interesting, Joseph's saying that if you type in the guy's middle initial, because his name is, yeah, that's what it was, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's the show I was trying to. Oh, look at that. If you take just his first name and his middle initial, it equals 42. Okay, well, anyways, Robert R., which is his first name and his middle initial, equals 42, like gun, like Maine. But if you add his last name, Card, it equals Pope Francis. So Pope Francis. So you guys can see his name that they give us, Robert R. Card, equals Pope Francis in 3 out of the 4. So Joseph, again, give a big shout out to him for that one. He's in the chat, dropping all the good ones. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about here, let's see, what did okay, so yesterday, okay, I forgot. So yesterday was Wednesday, okay? And Wednesday is named after Woden's Day. Okay, so just catch this, guys. Yesterday was a Wednesday. Wednesday gets its name from Woden's Day, which is the Norse god Odin. Okay, and the city that the shooter was from. Now, I just want you guys to notice that Odin, let me just take this, 4224, okay? So notice that this happens on a Wednesday, and Wednesday is the day named after Odin, and Odin equals Maine, okay? And the guy, the shooter, is from Bowden. So what a joke. So the shooter, he's from Bowden, Maine. And notice that when you say the word Bowden, which is where he's from, it sounds a lot like Odin. And Odin is named after is the god of Wednesday. And this is when the shooting happened. So what are the chances? And the WWE has been doing lots of predictive programming with Vikings and Norse mythology. I'm telling you guys, a lot of people focus on the Roman mythologies a lot, but the Norse mythologies, they use it a lot. And Odin equals Maine, and the shooter is from Bowden. Sounds like Odin. In fact, if you wait a minute, if you rearrange the letters, you almost get Woden, right? Except for it's just really interesting, right? That they chose this name, right? Yeah, and this is connected to that show Wednesday on Netflix, okay? So, but just so you guys know, Woden's Day is Wednesday, and the shooter is from Bowden, and Odin equals Maine, okay? And this happens on a Wednesday. And you guys remember that show Wednesday, The Addams Family, that came out one day after the anniversary of the JFK assassination? Last year, it came out on 11/23/2022, and it was all about Odin and Wednesday. And in Roman mythology, Odin is Mercury, and Mercury is the 201. So on the periodic table, Mercury is the element that's closest to the number 201 on the atomic weight. Waiting for it to pull up here. So Mercury on the periodic table is 200.592, which is close to 201, right? And Odin is Mercury, And Wednesday is named after Mercury or Odin, right? So yeah, that's just another crazy connection. But I don't think it's a coincidence because, again, I just showed you that Odin equals Maine, right? And I just want to point out that WWE has been doing a ritual with Vikings. So there's this wrestler named Ivar, and they've been talking a lot about Valhalla, which is the end right before Ragnarok, right? And this is like the Norse mythology Judgment Day, Ragnarok, right? And anyway, recently, this character in WWE has been prominent, and he's been declared the warrior, right? And so there's a lot going on with this, right? There's a lot going on with the Norse mythology, but I just don't have enough time in this video to go into all of it, right? I just don't. Like, there's so much. And Norse mythology is very interesting. And look at his name, guys. His name is Warbeard. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to pull up this wrestler because he's been prominent lately. And there was another girl in wrestling who was named Valkyria or something. And that's connected to the Valkyrie, which is also connected to Norse mythology. And the Valkyrie is also connected to the movie that came out. Okay, so there's this wrestler named Lyra Valkyria, or how do you say this? Valkyria. And she just won the championship. Now, she's Irish. And I'm making this connection because Biden is from Irish heritage. And anyway, her name Valkyria is connected to the flight of the Valkyrie, because Valkyrie is the name of a movie that came out with Tom Cruise in 2008 about the assassination, the operation to assassinate Hitler. Look at this. So this movie is called Valkyrie. And this movie was about the assassination of Hitler, right? And yeah, I did catch that too, guys. It has the one eye symbolism, right? But the one eye symbolism is connected to Odin, right? Odin also uses the one eye symbolism. And the reason this is connected to Baltimore is because Baltimore has the raven, okay? So Odin is usually depicted with ravens. And the NFL team, okay, the Baltimore Ravens, was named after the poem The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. And the raven is connected to Odin, who has two ravens called Hunjin and Munjin. And just notice that Odin is usually depicted with one eye. Okay, see this? There's always an eye patch. See? And this shooting happened on a Wednesday, which is Odin's day. And again, I showed you that Odin equals Maine. And this happened on Interstate 95, which runs through Baltimore, which is tied to the Baltimore Ravens. Is there a new series on Netflix? Kimberly's saying there's a new series on Netflix, a spinoff of The Raven Fall of the House of Usher. What the world? Well, let me look that up. See, I'm telling you guys, this raven symbolism is huge. Okay, so The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. See? So this is a new Netflix. So again, what happened last year was the release of Wednesday, which is tied to the Raven also. And now this year, they're also releasing another thing tied to the Ravens. And I'm telling you, this is all connected to Odin, guys. So yeah, this is very interesting. So thank you for sharing that. Huh. And remember, guys, the Ravens are also very connected to London. There's the 6 Ravens that guard the Tower of London. I just need to do a whole live stream about Ravens. How about that? Because I'm not even prepared to discuss all this. But now it's all coming together because I didn't even know this show was released. And this is tied to Usher, who just got announced for the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh. So Usher, ushering in the New World Order. Remember, I posted this. But anyway, Usher is the performer at Super Bowl this year, right? Okay. And now this show's coming out called The Raven, The Fall of the House of Usher. What does that equal? Hold on, let me just decode this real fast. What's the show actually called? Is it just called The Fall of the House of Usher? Is that what the show's called? Yeah, of course, Noah is also connected to ravens as well. I mean, ravens are all over the place. Hey, do you know what the show's actually called? Is it just called the Fall of the House of Usher? I'm guessing that's what it's called. Let me type it in. Well, I mean, there is something interesting here. If you type in Joe Biden's full name, it equals 109, like the Fall of the House of Usher. Yeah, there's probably more here, but I have to look more into it. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Here's the name of here's the show. It was released on October 12th. So, oh, and it's all about pharmaceuticals. Hmm. Wow, this is very interesting, this plot. Yeah, I'm going to look more into this, guys. I don't want to talk a lot about it now because I haven't really looked at it, but it's interesting. So yeah, this whole thing is connected to the Raven and Odin. So again, Odin usually depicted with his ravens. He usually has the one eye symbolism. And yesterday was Odin's day, and the shooter was from Bodin. It's Bodin, you know. It's so easy to see. So, anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna go to the chat for a bit longer and see what else you guys got, because I think I've hit all my points here. How long have I been live? Hold on. Almost an hour. Yeah, Game of Thrones. Somebody in the chat saying Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is very coded as well. I've done a bit of decoding on Game of Thrones. It's probably connected to the Year of the Dragon coming up next year. But yeah, I just also want to point out, guys, that the name of the city that this shooter is from, Bowden, has the 107 like shooting. So let me just pull up the 107s. So the guy that he was from Bowden, and Bowden equals 107 like shooting, like military, and the guy was military. And remember, the whole Hamas thing started on 107. House of the Dragon 181, 82. Yeah, I remember that. The House of the Dragon matches Barack Hussein Obama II. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Bowden sounds like Biden almost. That's why I'm saying, guys, this is super tied to Joe Biden. Hey, Morgan, how you doing? I see Morgan's in the chat. Throw is worth backwards. Yeah, that's interesting. Did Edgar Allan Poe die on October 7th? Okay, well, oh my gosh. Edgar Allan Poe died on the day the war started? Yeah, he did. Also, that reminds me, guys, Edgar Allan Poe died on the same day the war started. And there was this, the prophecy will be revealed, Busta Rhymes. So I was looking into this the other day. Just look at this, okay? So if you guys have never seen this video by Busta Rhymes, it came out on October 7th. Does that sound familiar, guys? October 7th. So exactly 3 years to the day before the invasion or the attack on Israel. And it says, Busta Rhymes, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Okay? And what's interesting about this is in this thing, it shows the Jesuit IHS in the background. You guys got to watch this video. If you've never seen it, it's very dark. They're putting marks on the children's heads, and then their eyes turn like a glowing white. You guys can see it in this. Let me pull it up. Since I haven't been doing much videos lately, I might as well get in all my research in this video. So I'm going to pause it, but so it starts out. So again, the reason I'm making this connection is this came out, this video, the prophecy will be fulfilled, came out October 7th. Look how many views it has, guys. 606, 668. It almost has all sixes as views. Okay, so the prophecy will be revealed comes out on October 7th, exactly 3 years before the invasion. And notice that the video is 322 long. You see that? 322 is the length. And okay, so it zooms in on these Jesuit or Catholic priests, and they're putting marks on the children's head, and they're reading out of the book of Revelation and talking about the dragon, okay, in the book of Revelation. And you'll never guess what chapter they're reading out of in the book of Revelation. They're reading out of Revelation 20/1. So the guy literally starts and he's reading, and I saw an angel coming down out of heaven, having the key to the abyss and holding a great chain. He sees the dragon, which, let me just bring all this together. So that old serpent, and Joseph Aquaviva, big shout out to him for this one. That old serpent, which is the dragon, right? So in the beginning of this video, they're talking about that old serpent. and he starts reading out of Revelation 20/1, like 201. And he's reading about that old serpent, which equals 201. And if you go to this part, let me show you. They're having all these kids. Look at it right here, guys. The IHS, the Jesuits symbol, Isus Hominum Salvator, IHS right there on the cross. And we know that the Jesuit order equals 201. Okay, like that old serpent, 201. Like Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. That's the Jesuit Pope right now. Okay. And like the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola. So all those equal 201. Also, Catholic Pope, 201. Catholic Mass, 201. The Pope lives in Suite 201 at the Vatican. Oh, by the way, Joseph, did you know that we're almost in the 266th month since 9/11? So watch out for November 11th, because November 11th is actually 9/11, and it's the 266th month anniversary since 9/11/2001. And the current Pope is the 266th Pope, and Isus Hominum Salvator, the Jesuit motto, equals 266. Yeah, you're right. Domus Sancti Marte, which is where the Pope lives. I can never spell that. Sancte Marte. What did I do here? Domus Sancte. Oh, it's Marth. Man, I hate this word. It always gets me. So Domus Sancte Marte equals 201. So let me bring up all the 201s. All right, so going back to this video, Domus Sancte Marte, the Pope lives in the Domus Sancte Marte, which equals 201. He lives in Suite 201. He's the Catholic Pope, which equals 201. His name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. He's a Jesuit, the Jesuit order, 201. And if we go back to this video, here's the Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, IHS. And this guy in the video, he starts reading out of Revelation 20/1, 201. Okay. So what are the chances of that? And again, this video, the prophecy will be fulfilled, came out on October 7th, which again is exactly 3 years before the attack on Israel. So the prophecy will be fulfilled. Also, that is Vladimir Putin's birthday, right? So October 7th is Putin's birthday, and the same day that the Israel invasion happened, right? Or the Israel attack. Now, what's interesting about this is the prophecy will be fulfilled. The video came out October 7th, but the actual album didn't drop until 10/30 that year. So I'm just wondering if they have another ritual for us on October 30th, considering that the album that came out was called Extinction Level Event, The Wrath of God. So that came out on October 30th, 2020, right? So this will be the 3-year anniversary coming up. And don't forget that Busta Rhymes, the guy who made this album, Busta Rhymes, he equals 151, like Jesus Christ. As a matter of fact, he has a 3-cipher match to Jesus Christ. The guy who did this album, Busta Rhymes. Yeah. Anyways, I thought I'd bring that up because, yeah, I have Catholic Mass in there. Catholic Mass 201, Catholic Pope 201, Ignatius of Loyola 201, Jorge Mario Bergoglio. But yeah, what's the chances that in that video they're reading out of Revelation 201? I mean, come on. Oh, and let me just show you this wrestling thing here. AEW is a wrestling company, and they're going to be having a show at the end of this year called World's End. Ay, ay, ay. Could they be any more obvious? Okay, so on December 30th, 2023, essentially one day before 2024, they're having an event called AEW World's End. I've seen a lot of wrestling shows with really obvious names, but what are the chances that they're calling this show World's End? And just notice what World's End matches. Has that 42 like World War. So the AEW event that's coming up at the end of the year is World's End, and World's End equals World War. 114, 42, and 48. So yeah, 64 days until World's End. Look, what in the world? Also, guys, another reason why I think that the October 28th coming up is connected to Joe Biden is because it's the day leaving 64 days left in the year, and Joe Biden equals 64, okay? So Joe Biden, 64, and the Hunter Moon is on the 64 days left in the year. So yeah, guys, I mean, 64 days till AEW World's End. That doesn't sound good. Get your tickets now, they say. Get your tickets for the end of the world. That's what they're telling you. Anybody else got anything? I'm kind of going off on a bunch of tangents in this video. Trying to think what else happened while I was away. We had the shooting. Let's see what CNN's got. See, this guy's still, apparently this shooter is still at large. Oh, and no one's been talking about that hurricane that's hitting. No one's been talking about that hurricane that hit Mexico out of nowhere. Did you guys see that? Hurricane Otis. What does Otis equal? So Hurricane Otis went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in less than a day, and then it hit Mexico in a very vulnerable place where people were not ready. Just another obvious sign of weather control, weather manipulation. Because, first of all, hurricanes don't often hit on the West Coast, because this was on the West Coast, guys. This hurricane this Hurricane Otis hit on the west coast of Mexico, not the East Coast, not in the Gulf of Mexico, but on the Pacific side. So And this, I think it was the strongest hurricane ever to hit that side, honestly. And it all happened in one day with no warning. Come on. Like, yeah, and the place is called Acapulco. Hurricane Otis, Category 5 nightmare scenario, knocks out all communications in Acapulco, Mexico. Yeah, what's Acapulco equal? Well, first of all, Hurricane Otis equals Society of Jesus. 191. Society of Jesus 191, Hurricane Otis 191. But Acapulco. Oh, and Acapulco equals 144. And okay, so Acapulco equals 144, like President Biden 144, like Jesuit order. Jesuit order 144. And don't forget that the Jesuit order equals weather manipulation or weather control. So again, guys, they're telling us it's always connected to the Jesuits, right? Weather control, the Jesuit order, exact match in 3 out of the 4, 177, 69, 201. Jesuit order equals 144, like the city that the hurricane hit, Acapulco. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's just a small decode on this hurricane, but we know what this is. We know it's weather manipulation. It says that there's 27 dead. Hurricane Otis devastates Acapulco, Mexico, killing 27. Okay. Acapulco, Mexico equals 141. Interesting. But yeah, so there's that hurricane that happened. What else? Oh, we have a new Speaker of the House, which I really didn't look into. If you guys want to know more about the Speaker of the House, go check out Joseph's video. I know he covered it because I don't think I'm going to cover it. It's just a bunch of baloney. But yeah, I mean, he did. I think I saw Joseph showed that it was 133 days after Trump's birthday, and Michael Johnson or whatever his name is, Mike Johnson equals 133, and he's a Trump supporter. Wasn't his name Mike Johnson? Like the most Mike Johnson is the most generic name you've ever heard in your life, other than like John Smith or something. But Mike Johnson equals 133, and he's a Trump supporter, and he's the new Speaker of the House. He gets sworn in 133 days after Trump's birthday. Mike Johnson, 133. President, 133. Government, 133. Authority equal 133? No, authority equals 137. But yeah, 133 days after Trump's birthday, President 133, Mike Johnson 133, government 133. I'm just trying to cover all the stories that I'd missed while I was gone for 8 days. You notice, you guys, you don't hear anything about the Ukraine war now. Like, it's been completely overshadowed. Like, there's not even one story on this front page about the Ukraine war. Something about an 88-year-old Harry Potter star. Some lady. But yeah, I don't see one story on the front page. I don't see one story about the war in Ukraine. It's like it's completely gone. The only stories that are up here right now are the shooting and the war in Israel. And no more talk about the Ukraine. It's like it's disappeared off the face of the earth. They're done with that psyop. That's right. It's like they just love to milk every story when it happens. Like that's why I didn't do a whole lot of videos after this war started, because I knew it was just all going to be every headline every day in the news on CNN was going to be all about Israel. I just didn't want to talk about the same thing every day. Like I don't even want to hear all the fear. It's like you just get tired of these psyops, man. Oh, does James Johnson equal House Speaker? So the guy's real name is James Johnson, which equals 44. And he's the new House Speaker, Joseph says. That equals... Yeah, so the guy's name is James Johnson, and he's the new House Speaker, and House Speaker equals James Johnson. James Johnson also equals Barack Hussein Obama. I'm sure you talked about that, Joseph. 64. And if you add the second, it equals 181. So that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, what are the chances that his name is a direct match to House Speaker? Yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for coming by for the stream tonight. I know it was a while since I did one. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Leave it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to get ready to call it a stream. Also, if you guys would hit the like button while you're in, thank you guys. It looks like 50 people have liked the stream so far, but if you guys would hit the like button. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, there's a link at the top of this stream. The support is greatly appreciated while I'm here in Albania. But if you guys want to go to this link, buy me a coffee, Decoding with Cody, you guys can support the channel. Want to give a big shout out to all the people who have supported, all 18 of you. So if you guys want to support the channel in any way, hit the like button, or you can go, don't donate to YouTube. Don't give me any super chats. Just go right here to this website, buy me a coffee. So anything else, guys? Warren Jackson says he just read the Balfour Declaration. Yeah, that's interesting. I need to look more into that. But yeah, let's see what the rest of the year. Let's see if this connection I made at the beginning of the Decode, guys, with JFK and Joe Biden, let's see if it plays out. It would be crazy if they follow the same pattern that they did with JFK. That means Biden, if they do, that means Biden's going to go either tomorrow or the next day. So I don't know. We'll see. Thanks, Joseph, for adding to the stream. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for reminding me of things that I forget. Also, hello, Cola T. I see you're in the chat. And Frederick, peace to you as well. Hey, Beth, how you doing? Thank you for coming. Yeah, catch to the beginning. I talked about a lot of different things in this stream. I have 67 in the chat again, and I kept talking about this number. All right, guys. Well, if there's nothing else more, I guess we'll end it there. Much love to you all. God bless you. And once again, thank you guys for always being so supportive. Thank you for the love and the kind words and the donations, whatever it is you guys do to support. You guys are like my family, my one big family, because most people, even in my personal life, don't understand the numbers like you guys do. So I appreciate you all. And I will be back next time with another Decode with another psyop that they put out there. Who knows what that's going to be. So take care, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Much love.